Moon Practice, October 2020.
Cuando sale la luna, se pierden las campanas y aparecen las sendas impenetrables. Cuando sale la luna, el mar cubre la tierra y el corazón se siente isla en el infinito.
When the moon rises, the bells hang silent and impenetrable footpaths appear. When the moon rises, the sea covers the land and the heart feels like an island in infinity. Welcome. I am Carolyn Cushing of Soul Path Sanctuary, and I'm here with...
Hi, I'm Yesbelt Fernandez of Yespiral.
And we are here talking about the moon practices that we follow, and Yesbelt. Why do you follow the moon and do things aligned with the moon?
I follow the moon because it's an ever-changing body. It's always in flux. It's new, it's waxing, it's full, it's waning. And I think just following that cycle and that pattern of being in flux helps me to bring things into my life that I want and also let go of things that no longer fit.
I love that. That cleansing, renewing part of the moon is part of why I follow it as well. And also because the moon light is more subtle than sunlight, and like our everyday lives are currently very chaotic, everyday lives are filled with sun, but the moon brings a different light. And sometimes we can see more subtle patterns, what's hidden, what's not in the media. And then we can align with those energies to make change, to renew our lives. This month, we're going to be talking about bringing more justice. So that's part of why I follow the moon. And Yesbelt and I have been doing some moon coordinating and sharing with tarot and herbs, and I'm very excited that we're doing it this month because we have upcoming October 31st full moon on what's Samhain, the Celtic New Year, 3 days before the US presidential election. So a lot of energy is up and we will take all the guidance we can get. So I'm going to talk a tiny bit about these subtle energy patterns.
Before you do that, let's also just remind people, or maybe let them know, that Samhain is also known as Halloween in the US.
Yes, very true.
Yeah, Halloween, just in case you didn't know.
Yes, it's very good to remind people. And this year will probably be a different kind of holiday. So we don't know exactly how it will go. We'll do different things this year. And, so I'm going to talk about those patterns, and then Yesbelt is going to lead us in making some suggestions for making an elixir that will fit with this month, helping us make things very real. But shall I jump to a little bit of the moon patterns, Yesbelt?
Yeah.
All right, good. So let's screen share, go back to our PowerPoint, thanking this poem from Frederico Garcia Lorca, bring us into some of the mystery of the moon. But let's see here. I want to advance to the next slide, where we are in a justice month. Right, that's the moon cycle. October 16th was the new moon, and we're going through November 15th is when the next new moon comes. And this, I use different tarot decks, kind of using the astrology is an overall guide of just showing us the correspondence and pointing us towards particular tarot cards to work with, to align with the energies, get the most out of the magical potential, the subtle energy work. And this month, working with the Shining Tribe Tarot Guides. And here on the left-hand side, our new moon was in the astrological sign of Libra, which corresponds to the card of justice. And here in the Shining Tribe Tarot, we have this rock figure woman coming out of the cave. Cave is a theme for this month. We'll be talking more about caves. And the Yesbelt talked about how in the moon cycle we let things go so we can bring in new things. We are in a process of renewal. And this version of justice kind of reminds us of justice's need for renewal. And sometimes justice recedes into the cave. Maybe justice is under attack, not being treated, given the respect that she is needed. And she goes to her cave to regenerate and draw forth her power. And October 16th was the new moon, bringing us into that energy. And the way I kind of work with the moons is that justice card, that what happened on that new moon kind of stamps this moonth with its energy. So we're working with it. We're trying to uncover what's happening with justice. We're trying to help the shadow woman of justice to emerge from her cave and be with us. Then when the full moon comes, October 31st, in the astrology, that full moon is in the sign of Taurus, which is a very earthy sign. And on the full moon, when justice kind of comes under the light of the full moon and whatever's been happening in our lives, that we have been working to bring forward more justice, bring forth our own desires, work collectively with others on some important issues. On October 31st, we have the potential under that full moonlight to get some particular guidance, to get a revelation about how to keep advancing justice. And in the Shining Tribe Tarot, the Taurus relates to the Hierophant, but in the Shining Tribe Tarot, it's called tradition, because these 5 rocks, these 5 red rocks, they are the wise ones. They are the high priests. They are the Hierophants. The rocks can teach us what we know to have a very grounded version of justice. Or if we're feeling all unsteady because all of the wildness in our world today, we know we can go to the rocks, and the rocks can direct us, ground us, help us gain the wisdom we need to be bringing forth the good in our lives and bringing forth justice collectively. Okay. So that is the moonth that we're in. Now there's something special about this moonth in the way the new and the full moon align. This moonth is ruled by the Empress. The astrological card, the astrological signs correspond to the tarot cards. We have Libra, justice, Taurus, tradition, and the astrological signs are ruled by, there's like a planetary ruler, an esoteric ruler, and it's Venus for both justice and tradition. And that doesn't always happen. It's because the new moon came very late in the sign that these two are aligned. Often it's Scorpio and death with the card of tradition. But we have something special going on at this time, October 16th, November 15th, during this crazy time, the US, presidential election, etc., things going on in your own life. The subtle energy, the subtle guidance here to remember is this moon is ruled by the Empress, who we see here with a prehistoric art figure, very much connected to the earth, bringing forward the generativity of the earth. We could really think of this virgin as like the great mother, who is here with us, giving us bounty, giving what we need to live through the earth. And with this guidance, so we want to tap into this energy and guidance, and the idea of like the moon is this more subtle energy, like what can we do to bring it out in our own lives and help weave it into the collective. And now we are moving toward Yesbelt. Yes, here we go. Special section, because another correspondence, a deck that we love to work with, the Herbcrafter Tarot. And I love it kind of theoretically and gropingly. Yesbelt loves it in a really real way because she really works with the plants and flowers. But the Empress card in the Herbcrafter Tarot is Rose. So I'm going to take down the screen share, and Yesbelt is going to talk to us a little bit about how we could bring Rose into our lives.
So when Carolyn and I first started talking about the full moon in Taurus, and we talked about it being ruled by Venus, and we also were drawn to the card of Rose in the Herbcrafter's Tarot. And as soon as I saw it, I thought it's a great time to make an elixir. And the reason why is because in this card, it shows a honeycomb and some roses. So I thought, why not make an elixir? An elixir is a herbal preparation that combines honey and alcohol. So how do you do that, you may be wondering?
I am. Cass question, is it always honey and alcohol? Are there other
You
substances?
could substitute the honey with glycerin, or you can use syrup. You could also use sugar water, but I think the honey just has like a higher medicinal property to it because it's made by bees. And if you get local honey, you can also get those allergy reducing properties that's in the honey if you start taking it before allergy season. So if you start taking honey now, by the time we get into allergy season in March, April, you should start building some immunity if it's local.
And I do have some Yesbelt's elixir, and it is quite wonderful. So just to say, she knows what she's talking about.
Yes, my heart-opening elixir. So I'll show you how to make it. It's pretty simple. You'll need some alcohol. I happen to have this Devil's Spring vodka, and the reason why I picked it is because it has a 75% alcohol content, and it really works to extract the medicinal properties of rose, and it doesn't change much of the flavor profile. Some herbalists prefer to use a much higher alcohol content, like 100%, but I think it's so strong that it kind of like burns the throat. So I would say use a 75% or even a 40%. It would be fine, and a 40% is like the type of vodka that you would normally drink. You could use a different type, like a brandy. It's just that the brandy itself has a flavor, so it may mask the flavor of the rose. So I have rose here, and when I open up this jar, it just smells, it's like bottled up roses. It smells really good. So I think one of the things that you want to capture is the scent and the taste, and using something that's like brandy or a different alcohol that has more of a more profound flavor may take away from the flavor. Okay, so you need the alcohol, you need rose. So I got this from my local apothecary, Flower Power. So they have bulk herbs there. You could order from them, or if you're in New York, you can go and visit. Otherwise, you can order from a place like Mountain Rose Herbs or Star West Botanicals. If a little goes a long way, because the petals are so light that 2 ounces will take you pretty far, I think. Another thing you'll need is some honey. I have this honey from Pennsylvania. It's pretty close to New York. So I would just say try to get an organic honey that's near where you live, like a local honey. Then you're gonna need a couple of jars. Some people make the elixir, they'll mix everything into one jar. I prefer to make 2 separate elixirs. So I already started doing this, so I have 2 jars. This one I filled up with rose. I filled it up halfway with rose, and then I topped it off with the alcohol. And then this one is filled up with rose and honey. And then The other thing you want to do is label your jars. So I wrote rose in 75% alcohol, 10/26, 2020, and then I put the moon phase in there. So today's moon is waxing moon in Pisces.
Mm.
And then,
can I have a technical question?
sure.
I'm the newbie here. Do the jars have to be like sterile, or it doesn't matter because you're using alcohol? Like you can be reusing jars. But
These are jars that I'm reusing. If you want to sterilize your jars, you could put them in boiling water. Some people run them through the dishwasher. Other people just take like a cloth and they'll use some of the alcohol. Like, they'll just, you know, like moisten the paper towel with a little bit of this and then just wipe it off that way. Those are ways that you can sanitize your jars. Yeah, but you know, if you're making it for yourself, it's a little different than if you're gonna like sell it. So yeah, so I usually just use the alcohol and I wipe it off, and then I do just run them through the dishwasher as well. So once you have your jars, you want to label them. This one says rose and honey, 10/26, 2020, and waxing moon in Pisces. And then the hardest part of doing this is the waiting part. So it does take, like most herbalists recommend that you infuse for at least 6 weeks. So by the time this is done, I would say I'm probably going to uncover this in the new moon so we're going to be maybe the full moon. I'm not sure now. In the middle of, so a month, 6 weeks from now would probably be.
Right, are we actually getting kind of close to the solstice?
I'm guessing in December. So it's going to be either the full moon, the new moon in Capricorn. So 6 weeks, whichever day that is. You can do it before or after.
Be exact, right? Like
it doesn't. You could always think of it like, since we're almost at the full moon, which is going to be on Saturday, the 31st, you could do like a full moon and a half cycle. So you go through the full moon, new moon, and then full moon again. So you could do that. That's kind of like 6 weeks right there.
You could wait until the winter solstice. I think that might be like 7 or so weeks, but to do something special like that. Cool.
You could do that, or if you want to like give these as gifts for Christmas, then you may want to open it just before. But one of the great things about this is that since you're going to be waiting for 6 weeks, is that you get to infuse your energy and your intentions. So your heart opening intentions. And the way that you do that is you basically go to your jars every day. You keep them somewhere that I just keep mine on my countertop, and then whenever I pass by them, or at least like once a day, I just pretty much shake them, make sure that the honey and the alcohol is mixed. So I kind of like just mix them and with my intentions. And then once the time is up, then I am going to decant the 2 jars, and then I'll combine them into a jar like this. And this is also like a recycled jar of honey, which I've saved. I took the label off and I ran it through the dishwasher.
Great.
Do you have questions on that, Carolyn?
I have just a comment of how I appreciate, and I know in the summer when we did this with people who are, you know, at different levels of doing this kind of stuff, just how like that you have these on your kitchen counter and you'll pick them up and, you know, give them your intention. It's like everyday magic. Like magic doesn't have to be off in some other corner or only with this crazy elaborate ritual. Like your example is just like bringing magic right there to the kitchen counter. That inspires me.
Yeah, and what I like about it is the fact that I'm like putting my intention into it. That means I'm thinking about my intention, and my intention is always positive. So it's like I'm putting the positive vibes out there, which I think is pretty cool.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Great. Is that perhaps the segue?
Yeah, I mean, so once it's done, once you've created this, you could bottle it up into smaller jars like this, like little bottles like this. That's how Carolyn has one. I gave her one before.
Special gift. Just so to surround yourself with this during this moonth, that it's a great time to make this honey elixir, but people say they're doing it now, they don't have it right away. Any thoughts on just working with rose petals, or I know you've talked about kind of infusions, something that you could do on Saturday with the roses?
I would say just add rose into your life. And the way you can do that is by including it in your teas. I like to include rose in my nighttime teas. So like it mixes really well with lemon balm, and lemon balm is a very calming herb. So if you drink it before bed, it'll just add like a little bit of rose. It doesn't, like rose does not need a very long infusion time. Like some herbs like nettles, it needs like 8 hours, 4 to 8 hours infusion to take out the medicinal properties. But since rose has a lot of volatile oils like right on the petals, a 5-minute infusion will get the scent and also the volatile oils into the tea. So you don't have to wait a long time. And the same goes with lemon balm. So if you wanted to make like a really good calming tea for bed, I would say use 2 parts lemon balm, 1 part rose, and maybe half a part of lavender. That could be a really nice, soothing, calming, go to bed type of tea.
Nice. And that would be good for your heart. And a nice counterbalance to all the tension in the world. Well, I mean, definitely the United States, that's where we are, right? So that's what we're attuned to. But
exactly. And another one, if you wanted to drink it during the day, I would say mix it with tulsi. So I think tulsi is a little bit more energizing, and it's an adaptogen, which helps the body cope with stress. So if you make tulsi tea, you can also add some rose to it.
Nice. And perhaps you bring it into your full moon rituals.
Yeah, you could also like work with the flowers themselves. You could take some of these flowers and put it into a sachet, like a small little pouch, and carry it with you, and infuse your intentions into it. You could keep it in your bag, you could put it under your pillow, things like that, whenever you want to bring more love into your life.
Nice. Love those ideas. And you can also meditate with the Empress, which is, I think, where we're moving next. Correct? Okay. Shall we go there?
Yeah, let's do it.
And let's do it. Yes. So I'm going to screen share again with a couple visuals, and we're moving into doing a meditation, and that you could have to do on October 31st, right around the full moon. So let me screen share again, get a little bit of our images. So we're moving from the Empress, the heart opening, but we're not leaving her behind, because here she is again. This is the full moon invitation, spiritual guidance and healing. I'm going to move us down here, maybe. So the full moon comes in that sign of Taurus, which is associated with tradition in the Shining Tribe Tarot. And so it's a time to open up to the revelations coming from the ancient ancestors, the very rocks we live on. These could be symbols for our ancestors from far back in time. And we are doing this work ruled by the Empress. That's the language of astrology. Empress is our ruler, and we should open our hearts to follow her. And to do that, you may want to bring some of that rose tea, rose tulsi tea, rose lemon balm tea into the ritual or meditation that you do. And I mentioned when we started off Justice in the Cave, remember Justice in the Cave, that we would return to the idea of the cave, because this full moon, October 31st, the wheel of the year. It's got the 12 astrological signs, but it also has 36 little components that relate to a particular numbered card, which kind of, these are us in the world living out these archetypes. And for this full moon, our card is the 5 of Stones. And in this image, we are in the cave. Rachel Pollack is the creator of the Shining Tribe Tarot, and she talks about this being in the cave. And these are spirit beings. And at the center of this purple spirit being, the sign on the chest is the sign of Venus. So this card brings together a lot of themes are gathered. We had Justice went into the cave to renew herself. We have Venus, the Empress, Rose, and Love as our guide. And we are turning to the spirits who can help us to be doing this healing work, to open up to their spiritual guidance and be doing healing work. And here we are seeing this card in a bit bigger image. And this is Rachel Pollack's little poem that comes at the start of how she writes about this card. They emerge, the dark hidden healers, power from secrets, visions from stones. So in our meditation, we are about to go into the cave. Whenever I do a meditation, I'm doing this guided meditation, I'm gonna give you prompts. If you're in your imaginal mind, you go somewhere else, that you should always follow where your imaginal mind is taking you. But I'm going to give you these prompts. So we're going to enter the cave, and we're going to connect with the support of the cave, connect with it kind of as the great mother wall support guidance for us, creating a womb for our healing. And we're going to connect with one of these healing spirits, which could be spirits of the land. It could be ancestors. This is the time of year where we connect with ancestors. It could be the great mother herself. So that is our connection. And to prepare to do this meditation, I made an outing to the Rock House Reservation. The trustees of the reservation is a conservation group that is local. And I brought the card with me into this great cave. And as you can see here, it's, the opening, the light is coming in, kind of like the light's coming in the card. And it's almost, there's a little bit of a cross here, which I'm seeing as it's where the earth plane, the earth, the vertical meets the horizontal, which is the spirit, which goes up to heaven, but also down into earth. So there's a big connection between the sky and the earth, and us here on the everyday plane being able to access this deeper, higher energy. Okay, so for this meditation, let's see, I want to just check my notes, make sure I think I mentioned everything that you might need. Just if you are doing this on your own, or you want to wait till the 31st, or you're kind of preparing, you may want to brew yourself some rose tea of some sort, or if you have a rose elixir, bring it out, or have rose petals near you. Feel free to bring them into however you're kind of finding some space, quiet space where you can shut yourself off. If you go to a cave, great, but you make a little space in your home, that can be a cave. And you could gaze upon this image. You could kind of be gazing upon this image for a little while, and then maybe you'll start to close your eyes and go inward. So you can do your closing your eyes whenever you're ready. Yesbelt, do you think that's enough setup? Do you think I forgot anything to orient people? Do you have a question?
No, the only thing I thought of was you could also buy roses.
Like the flowers, of course.
Get yourself some roses. Yeah.
Get yourself some roses.
You don't have to wait for somebody to buy them for you.
Right. I love it. I love it. I love it. But every once in a while, there's like a couple rose gardens where there's like a late blooming rose. Maybe you find one One,
Well,
wait.
the roses in New York City are actually in bloom again right now. So
Yeah.
on the streets, there are a bunch of roses in the places where they're planted, which is nice to see.
So you could try to forage. Try to forage. So
Yes.
okay. But let us do this meditation. The other thing, if you're doing this, later on, you feel free to kind of, I'm going to give prompts. Maybe you stop the video for a little while and just be in your own space for a little while. Feel free to stretch this out. Maybe it will be a clear October 31st full moon and you can do it under the moon. So, but I invite you to begin the meditation gazing on this image. Just let its mystery kind of work upon you. And you're breathing in the idea of healing being possible for you, for us, for the collective. You're breathing in the possibility of it coming from the earth spirits, your ancestors, the Great Mother. Just before you close your eyes, you may want to let your focus move to the center of the purple figure. It's kind of a red flower. Maybe it's a rose there. And as you're gazing on that figure and its heart center, maybe holding a rose, let your eyes close. And when your eyes close, you tune into what's happening inside of you. Bring your attention perhaps to your breath. Not so much breathing differently, it's just giving it your attention. Feeling how the breath coming in lifts your heart just a little bit. Expand your chest. And then on the out breath, how it lets your body relax, maybe even sink a little bit. You're breathing in, letting your heart open. Breathing out, letting yourself settle. And as you're settling, you're letting yourself be received by chair or the floor. You feel how you're supported. And this allows you to sink a little more deeply into relaxation, into connection with what is there to support you. You're letting yourself feel, remember how what is supporting you is connected down into the earth. It might be almost as if there are little rootlets going down from your feet on the floor, or going down from the base of your spine. A root going down from whatever is supporting you down into the earth. Going down into the earth, through the soil, meeting the rock. Then when you take your next in-breath, it's almost as if that earth energy is starting to travel up your body. It's coming through your legs, through your seat. It's coming up your calves. And you're opening yourself up to, you're welcoming the supportive, grounded energy coming up from the earth into you. Maybe now you feel it moving through your stomach. Maybe your stomach relaxes and opens up. And that earth energy keeps moving up with the solar plexus, right below your ribs. You feel that earth energy enlivening this place in your body. And passing further up, the earth energy is coming and arriving in your heart. It may be, it's almost as if that earth energy is kind of circling within your heart. Tune into the feelings within your heart and welcome this meeting of earth and heart. Take a deep breath in and let your heart be expanded. Let go and release, and know that you're sending your love out into the world. Take another breath in, feel your heart expanded. Let it go, and know you are a conduit of love in the world. Take another breath in. Feel your heart lift and activated. Release your breath. And on the next in-breath, imagine this mixture of your heart energy and the earth energy now moving up, continuing upward, this mix of energy moving up through the throat, moving up to that place just above and between your eyes. Some have called the third eye. It's this place where you can see beyond the surface of the everyday. Place where your imaginal mind is activated. Where you see with the eyes of your soul. You feel that mixture of the earth energy and your own heart energy gathering and growing here. Might almost be as if there's a little spiral of energy happening, and then that energy keeps moving up through you, and it's almost as if at the top of your head there's a little opening, and this energy starts to come out like a spray from a fountain. This is the energy of your heart and the earth coming out like a fountain and cascading over you in this delightful flow. Let it come and flow over you. Perceive this in whatever way works for you. In the spirit of working with rose and heart energy, you might imagine that you are a rose-colored fountain, sitting and glowing, flowing with your heart energy. And in this place, the space of your heart energy flowing, you may want to set an intention for the meditation, for our movements into the place of stones, where we'll go in a moment. Feel free to set an intention to serve some of your highest values: love, justice, forgiveness. It doesn't have to be perfectly worded. Just let yourself be filled with your intention. Having set your intention, it's almost as if you are opening your eyes to the imaginal world, still staying inward, but you're kind of peering through the rose-colored flow around you. You imagine it's almost like you can take your hands and move it to the side a little bit, and you're looking out. You're looking out from your rose-colored fountain. You're looking out into a cave of some sort. Let yourself peer into it. And then in your imaginal mind, it's almost as if you are standing up, still surrounded by the rose-colored light, but you're stepping into the cave. How does it feel? What do you hear? Do you smell something? Maybe your body just feels a little different being among the stones. Give yourself a moment just to tune into being within this place of stone. You might move toward some part of the cave, move toward the wall of the cave, move toward a place where you can be cocooned in stone. You may want to put your hand, maybe it's your left hand, onto the stone. And let yourself commune with the stone, which may speak to you without language. Just let yourself receive its ancient wisdom. Maybe some gratitude flows from you to the stone for its support, for the wisdom it's giving you. And now you perceive an energy, a figure. There's some energy, spirit close to you, and you turn to face the messenger. You let yourself, still surrounded in your rose glow, turn to this spirit. open yourself up to perceive who they are, a nurse spirit, an ancestor, the great mother. Just let yourself come into this encounter and greet the spirit that has come to you. You may find that you have a question or a petition to bring. So you ask your question, you make your petition. And then you open up to receive the message in your heart. There's a message coming to your heart, an answer to your question. Maybe it's words, maybe it's not. Maybe you feel energy in a certain part of your body, maybe you don't. Maybe the figure reaches for you and touches you in some way. And as you're receiving the message, you're breathing, remembering to breathe and feel your heart lift. Feel the rose-colored energy still flowing around you. As you receive this guidance from your guide. You are grateful for this message, however it's come. And so you offer thanks to the one who has come to be with you, offer you love and healing. Maybe you make a special gesture. Maybe they return the gesture. And then from somewhere in the cave or somewhere on this figure, a light starts to emanate. The light is entering the cave, coming through the figure and flowing toward your heart. It's a final blessing from this place of stone to help you moving forward, to help you be a conduit of love as you go forward in your everyday life. And having received this gift, you know that it is now time to return to the everyday world. And so you move back Move back to that place in the cave where you first was sitting, the place from where you rose. And it's almost as if you are sitting back down into your physical body. Coming back into that place. Feeling once again the rose-colored light coming all around you. Taking a breath here to be returned into the body. And then bring the attention to the top of your head. You might imagine in some way that opening at the top of your head might be almost as if there's a lotus flower, some kind of flower. Could be a rose at the top of your head, opening, but now the petals are closing. They're closing like a flower closes down for the night. And the petals are coming over this opening and they're sealing the energy into you. So you can have this energy to continue to move through the moonth, to move through this time we are in. You take a deep breath in, feel secure with that energy within you. Now you bring your attention to the bottom of your feet, to the base of your spine. And here too, there might be flowers that are open, then they begin to close. The energy here as well is being sealed into you. So you have it for moving forward through the moonth. And you might move your feet a little bit. Feeling how you are your body. Still a connection to earth, as always. But you're coming more fully into your body and maybe swaying a little from side to side. Bringing your hands together. Your palms over your heart in this prayer position. Let yourself breathe here as well. Just keep taking breaths. And you might half open your eyes, just a really soft gaze. Begin to move your palms over each other. Feel a little bit of warmth, a little bit of that spark of consciousness. Maybe open your eyes a little more. Move your palms a little more quickly. You got a fire stick, the fire of consciousness. You are waking it up. And then when you're ready, for your hands up over your head and stretch. And come back, alert, awake, ready to face the world, facing this image again. So thank you for the 5 of Stones wisdom. And here's a closing quote as we make a transition. I love this one. Anchor the eternity of your love in your own soul and embed this planet with its goodness. And that's from John Lewis, the civil rights activist and Georgia legislator who died, seems like 1,000 years ago, but was really only probably weeks ago. And but still, his wisdom is here for us, guiding us, be with our love, bring it into earth. That is the meditation.
Thank you for that.
And concludes the full moon ritual part of this video from Yesbelt and I. And just before we end, we want to mention a few things about what we are doing coming up. All right, here we go, coming up. So Soul Path Sanctuary and Yes Spiral. And both of our websites are soulpathsanctuary.com, yesspiral.com. And I am coming up right away. Love letters to the dead. You can get this right on the front page of my site. It's just what it sounds like. We are writing love letters to those, our beloved dead, to our ancestors. If you sign up on the website, you get a little PDF with tips, little ritual support. You can do it on your own. But also Wednesday night, the 28th, 8 o'clock, I have the last, it's called the writing room. It's really, there's just like a little introduction, and then we sit in supportive silence and we write to help us get those letters done. I am ritually burying my letters on sometimes that weekend around when the moon is full, the 30th, 31st, 1st. Then Descent and Return of the Lights is my the 8-week around the winter solstice. It's offered with an e-retreat. There are Zoom calls. There's lots of ways to participate. And we embrace the darkness that's coming and get its lesson. We're in the womb of the cave. And then the solstice comes, and then we cultivate the light. And then if you don't know it, every month around the new moon, I send out an e-news, and often around the full moon too. And you can sign up on my website. So that's Soul Path Sanctuary. And Yesbelt, what is Yes Spiral doing next?
I am going to do a Rose Elixir giveaway.
And so really, you want that Rose Elixir, I tell you.
Yeah, so I made these elixirs this summer, and I still have a couple left. So I thought I should give you one, especially since I just showed you how to make it. So I'm going to be posting how to do it on my Instagram page, which is Yes Spiral on Instagram. And you could tag your friends in the comments, or you can share, and each one of those that you do is an entry. And I will announce it on Friday, which is Venus Day, and Friday the 30th, coming up at the end of this week. And I also have a monthly practice, and I have a circle that's every new moon. The next one is going to be for the new moon in Scorpio, which is on November 15th. You can sign up for that on my website. And if you'd like, I'm going to be doing a new moon circle for all of the new moons up until Pisces. And if you want to sign up as a series, you got a bit of a discount that way.
Yes. All right. So I'm going to stop share. There we go. So it's back to us. Oh, and both soulpathsanctuary.com, yesspiral.com. Get lots of info there. So we hope this has been supportive and grounding and brings love in the service of justice into your life and into our collective lives. We've been talking about it, but this is an election. Vote as soon as you can. Vote for the candidates and policies that are going to bring more love and justice into the world is my thought, my offering. Anything, Yesbelt?
I would say vote early, because you never know what could happen on that day. In New York, the polls are open now, and I think other states are also open as well. So I think you voted already, Carolyn.
I did. I voted right away because, and I will just echo that. And I will just tell a person, I always vote. I'm big on voting. My mother we were kids, brought us into the voting place. So I voted little elections. In 2012, I did not vote because the Saturday before the Tuesday election, my partner, John, died in a car accident. And even if I had thought about it, I was on a plane from Monday morning. I was never going to be able to get the absentee ballot. So this is a super important election. Vote early. And John, my partner, he would approve of me using this story to help make the point. And it could be a crazy time afterwards, because we don't know exactly how this voting is going to go. So many people are voting. I think voting is happening everywhere, and there's a big response. Just keep connecting with rocks, help be calming energy, stand up for what you think is the right what should happen, that the election, the vote should be counted. And that's our thoughts.
I would say also connect with some herbs.
Connect with some herbs, yeah. Oh, just, yeah, maybe like a book, like it's like, when you go to a concert, people like encore, encore. I have seen you do this before on your Instagram page, like Yesbelt posts a bunch of things. Do you have a special, like what would calm you down? Like some herbs to keep using?
Oh, for calming,
Yeah.
I would say adaptogen herbs like Tulsi, because an adaptogen helps your body cope with stress. So I would say Tulsi, and also like herbs that make the body calm, like lemon balm, rose, lavender. Those I would say are my go-tos.
Yeah. So they're the ones you talked about. Like it really is the subtle patterns of the moon can really help guide us through this time.
Yes.
So go forth and embed the planet with your love.
Yes.
That's our blessing, and we will see you on the next moonth.